Well, thank you, Fall Out Boy. That fucking made me tear up a few times. And thank all you fuckers coming here. We love you. They don't let drummers use teleprompters. So I wrote this shit old school on a fucking typewriter. No, actually. Okay, but music is the force that gets us up in the morning. It's also the shit that keeps us up all night. We're all in this room together to celebrate music, and it's a beautiful thing. It's overwhelming, the amount of talent and love in the room. It's overwhelming. And when we were on tour in our yellow Ford Econoline that we called the Tooth, we were playing punk clubs, squats, backyard parties. We were screen printing T-shirts on Billy Joe's guitar case and hanging them in people's backyards, sleeping on floors, couches, wherever we could. I didn't think back then that we'd be here now in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I thought it would take at least another year or two. But we grow older and we change and we get weird and we're weirder and crazier, and it's awesome. We grow together and with every beat of the drum, you know, our love for music gets even stronger. And being inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is an enormous honor. And I'd like to mention a few people who make my crazy world turn around. My beautiful wife, Sarah Rose. Ramona and Frankie, my kids. My mom and dad, Frank and Linda. My sister, Lori, who actually brought music into our home at an early age. And I love you. Love you all. Of course, Billy and Mike. Love you guys. The big three. Jason, Jeff. Kenny Butler. Over there. Love him. Pat Magnarella. Chris Dugan. Bill Schneider. Chris fucking Lord Algie. Mike Amato. Rob Light. Rob Cavallo. Mike the Sack Fasano. John Passman. Steve K. Mike Ciprari from SJC Drums. Love those. Love you. Larry Livermore, who gave me the name Trey Cool when I was a wee lad of about 11 or 12, and I fought him as hard as I could on that, but I'm fucking stuck with it. I'm in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now. Kane Kong, the bass player for the Lookouts. Kick-ass dude. Paul and Sue. My Aunt Jenny, my Aunt Sue, and my cousin Kenny. Uncle Mark. Reprise Records. And I owe so much to my favorite drummers. Ringo Starr. Keith Moon. John Bonham. Mitch Mitchell. Charlie Watts. Buddy Rich. John Wright from No Means No. Alex Van Halen. Dave Mello. Aaron Elliott. Al Schwitz. And extra special thanks to my good buddy and drummer extraordinaire, John Kiffmeyer, right over there. And of course, to the Green Day Idiot Nation, we love you, thank you.
It's unanimous, none of us like teleprompters. I got a couple things, no particular order. First and foremost, I also have a mom who gave me a guitar, a little pawn shop bass, and it only had 2 strings on it. They were flat wounds, but luckily for me, they were A and E, so I was halfway there. I'd like to thank radio. I'm a big fan of radio. I like good radio shows. I hate commercials, but I love good radio shows. So, you know, there's something about a radio show that when we're listening to it, we're all connected, and it's that human connection that I really have always resonated with. Lawrence Livermore, you created Lookout Records. You started a small record label for all the right reasons, and you gave a home to a lot of bands, and for that I want to thank you. Huge thank you to all the kids who booked us in small vets, halls, and backyards. In Europe, all the people who booked us in clubs and squats. And to the hundreds of people whose floors you let us sleep on, thank you very much. Those were life-changing experiences, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Randomly, I would like to thank the Ford Motor Company for creating the 40 Econoline van, the best damn van any smelly touring band could have. Reprise Records, thank you guys, all of you guys, no matter what era you were there. We have a few other people. Let me see. Brian Bumbury, Jen Adler, Bill V, Chris Lord-Alge. You guys have been with us a very long time. And even longer, Pat Magnarella, our manager. Pat, you have very thick skin. You're very patient. Nobody in the world would have let us be ourselves the way you have, and we truly appreciate you. To Michael Mayer and everybody involved with the American Idiot stage production. This is as close as we'll ever get to seeing Green Day live, and it will always be a highlight of our lives. Thank you very much. I'm sure a lot of the musicians in this room will, and everybody who are family of the musicians can understand this one. I want to thank our friends and family at home for allowing us to be gone so much of our lives and still being there for us. It meant a lot to us over the years, and it still really does. Thank you. To the Armstrong family, I want to thank you guys for taking me in as a kid, figuratively and literally. Thanks for letting me live with you. To my amazing wife, Brittany, you're a wonderful mother. You kicked cancer's ass last year. Thank you. You're a great partner in crime. I love you, Brady Kitty. To my children, Estelle, my lovely daughter here, my son Brixton at home, and my daughter Ryan at home. I love you guys, and each one of you is my entire world. Thank you. All right, wrapping it up here. To every one of our fans and to the Idiot Nation, this is much more about you guys than it is about me. And I'm very proud to share this life on earth with you. Thank you. Last but not least, to my two brothers behind me on stage here. Believe me, it's been way too many years to want to count. I love you guys. I'll see you at band practice.
I feel like I'm in line at the DMV or something. I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words right now. The gratitude that I feel right now is overwhelming, and I didn't really know how to prepare for something like this. So I couldn't really write a speech. So I'm just gonna make it up at the top of my head, but with a few talking points. So, I mean, first off, I just want to thank my family, my boys, Jacob and Joey. You guys blow me away every day. And Adrian, I love you. We've been married forever. And it's a rare thing in this crazy rock world, and I love you so much. You're the best. And I gotta thank my mom, Ollie Louise Armstrong. She's from Oklahoma, moved to California. You and Dad had 6 kids. I'm the youngest one, and like my house, the one thing that I'm so grateful for is all of the music that was in our house. It's like from my brother, my oldest brother, Alan, he had, the first time I heard the Beatles and the Stones and the Kinks. And, we used to come to his house and sleep over there, and we'd watch Showtime at night and like watch Alice Cooper, you know, at 12 o'clock because that was the good time to watch it. My sister Marcy was pretty much the person that showed me Elvis Presley for the first time, and I thank you. My sister Holly is like, cool in the gang. And my sister Anna, who basically, that record collection that you have turned my world inside out. I thank you so much. If it was anything, it's like a lot of people here right now. It's like my record collection is actually sitting in this room. You know? I mean, the fact that I got to hear an album like Horses by Patti Smith, man, and there you are, standing right, I love it, this is great. And, you know, my brother David, we listened to Led Zeppelin and Van Halen and Motley Crue and you know, and Cheap Trick and, you know, Pyromania by Def Leppard and, you know, and a few others that hopefully will be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame sooner. So, it was like, my house was like rock and roll high school. I mean, literally, I mean, it was nuts. I mean, all my friends would come into my house and it's like, where do you smoke weed at? It's like, go to the Armstrong house, you know. No, that didn't happen, Mom. My bandmates, Mike, me and Mike got together. Our school district went bankrupt, so they closed down the main junior high, and they combined the two elementary schools to come together. And so he went to one elementary, and I went to the other, and we just had to take the bus out there. And first day of elementary school, or in I think it was the 5th grade, I walk up, and then I was like the class clown, but Mike was like the class clown. And so it was kind of like this dueling banjos that was gonna go back and forth. I was like, so, you know, we both were, you know, what you get is deliverance. And I went to a show. Well, anyways, Mike, you are my musical soulmate, man. I love you so much, and we've been through everything together and this whole thing, and I thank you so much for everything, your friendship, your family. I love you. And I met Trey was playing at this band called The Lookouts, and they were, they have this really young drummer, and he was wearing a old lady's shower cap and a tutu. And so that's the first time I saw Trey, and I was like, oh, cool. And then, I don't know, and then, you know, as years went by, we got to know each other. We, just seeing him at shows and things like that, and then he joined the band, and I don't know, it was just amazing, an amazing drummer. One of my favorite drummers of all time. I mean, if there's one instrument that I love to hear, and it's because my father is a jazz drummer, my brother is a drummer, my uncle is a drummer. I'm the oddball, and but Trey is just a phenomenal, and he pushes, and he's the most dangerous drummer on the planet, and I love this guy. And there was this backyard party that Sweet Children played. That was us before Green Day. And the kid that was filling in at the time, we and Mike were looking for a drummer. And this guy was in this crazy band called Isocracy. His name is John Kiffmeyer, also known as Al Sobrante. And he's a couple years older, and at the time it was like a veteran in our in that community. And you know, John, thank you so much. You know, I love you, and God bless your family. Thank you so much. And I don't know, and what can I say? Lookout Records, like, you know, it's so rare that you get to have like an independent label that is putting out bands that are in a scene that are like a place like Gilman Street, from where we come from. And they were putting out my favorite records at the time, whether it was Crimshrine, Operation Ivy, Isocracy, Corrupted Morals. Tim Armstrong, I love you, brother. We had this gig that John booked, and it was going to be on top of this mountain in Mendocino. So we drive up there, and we're supposed to play at the Lookouts, and Trey booked the show. So we drive all the way up to the top of this mountain, and we play in this cabin that didn't have a roof or electricity. Now, how the hell you're supposed to have a gig, I have no idea. But they got some generators, and we plugged in, and that's where we really met Larry Livermore for the first time. And Larry, you've been so great to us. Thank you so much. You opened your door, and thank you. It's like for kids like us and other kids playing in rock and roll bands, and to have that independent spirit, and it's just great. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank the other people that worked at Lookout Records, like David Hayes, Chris Applegren, and Pat Hines. And which leads me to all the people at Reprise. Thank you so much. I have to say we've had a great experience there. So we've been there for 20 years. Thank you so much for everyone that worked in the mailroom, that goes out to try to find bands. What a thankless job. Everybody over there, but most of all, I have to thank Rob Cavallo. We've only worked with 2 producers in our entire career, and Butch Vig did 1 record, so thank you, Butch. But Rob, you did all of them, so thank you so much. And I really feel like you are a brother. We are a kindred spirit, in the fact that we could sit around and play songs all day long together and just speak in that language. I just love to talk about, and love to talk about it with you and stuff, and we'll talk about it later. All right, thank you, Rob. Pat Magdarella, you're a brave man. You're our manager. I want to apologize for the hotel rooms. I want to apologize for Trey's drum sets catching on fire. I want to, thanks for rehab. And thanks for doing those talks that we were not capable of doing. So thank you. Thanks a lot. I love you. All right. And in closing, so we come from this place that's called Gilman Street. It's a club. It's in Berkeley. And I am so fortunate. We are so fortunate to be able to play there, because it's all ages, and it was nonprofit, and it was just all of these goofballs, and it was just like it was like romper room for degenerates, and it was so great. And what a great scene. And we got to watch our friends' bands, and they got to watch us play, and they got to heckle us, and we tried to heckle back, but they heckled better. So, and I got to see Operation Ivy, and I got to see Crimshrine, and I got to see Sewer Trout and Nasal Sex, and these far out there bands. And I am truly fortunate, but I love rock and roll music. I always have. As soon as I opened my eyes and took my first breath, I am a fan. And that's the one thing that I'm going to close with, is that I love rock and roll, and I'll love it for the rest of my life. Thank you.